You are listening to thedailybreadproject.com. Thank you for being here with me. This is the only spot in the universe where you're going to get light, love, positivity, power, all the good things in life. The media's out there beating your brains out with chaos and panic. And in here, we're all about love, baby. The daily bread, your daily nourishment, your daily hit of goodness to start the day right. And I wish I could do it all by myself, but I can't. That's why I have enlisted the help of some of the smartest people I know. Today, I've got a guest with me, another guest, a special guest. I've been begging this guy to get on the show forever, and he's just been blowing me off. But now here he is, Mr. Nate Kennedy.
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm great. I couldn't be
Blowing you
better.
off. I don't know about all that. Sounds a little aggressive.
I know what it is. We already spend too much time together. We do real estalepreneurs together. We're in groups together. It's like, damn, I see enough of this guy.
I was just offended that you didn't personally call me and ask me.
I should have flown over with a handwritten note and handed it to you with gold
Yeah,
foil on it. I get it.
pigeon. Could have sent a pigeon. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm slacking. You're right. I mean, what am I thinking, man? I'm not thinking clearly, bro. So look, this is I don't know if you've been following, but with everything seemingly going crazy out there, I wanted to create a spot in the universe, seriously, where there was some positivity and bring the people who I know are on their A game right now. And you're one of those people. I follow you on Instagram. I follow what you're doing, and I want to first of all, I want to tell you that I'm proud of you, Sonny, for being consistent. What's going on over there? Like all of a
Game time.
sudden, game time, right?
It's game time.
You've stepped up. I'm like, oh, look at Nate's here every day, and I like everything you post. I'm like, where has he been all this time? It's game
Yeah,
time.
it's game time, man. Gotta get after it. It's yeah, I just think I've always, me, man, I've always kind of struggled with like getting consistent on that stuff, but there's massive value in it. And I really felt the urge to step up and lead a little bit more through this time because it is a challenging time. And it was either now or never type opportunity, right? Like, hey, I can continue kind of flying under the radar like I've been doing for many, many years, or I can actually put my thoughts out there that I think, that would be helpful and whatnot for somebody as they might just brighten up their day at this current state of fear driven chaos, right? So
That's what the media would have you to believe. I'm having the strangest time with this because I, on one hand, I feel awesome about it, and on the other hand, I feel bad about it because I'm like, this is great. We've been doing this forever anyway. Staying at home, working on the computer. I'm like, what's changed? I don't know.
it's funny because for me, I had an office and I was the only one in it. And so even when they had us on lockdown, I would drive from my garage to my office garage to my office. I'd see nobody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing driving? I'm like, I literally have quarantined from my garage in my car to my office and haven't seen, but it's interesting because I would go to the office every day and my lease happened to be up because, as you know, we're moving back east. And my lease was up and I'm been working from home anyways, was the plan at the end of March. And out here in California, we've been hanging out, stay at home for a while. And I it's amazing. I didn't realize how much time I was wasting just driving back and
Yeah.
forth,
I
just so I
mean,
could say I had my own office. Not, I would get so much more done now. I'm working less and accomplishing more right now. How about
working
you?
less. I need to write that one down. That's like a bullet point there. So here's the first thing because we're chit chatting and it's because we're buddies, but that doesn't necessarily translate well on the podcast. So we should probably get into it. And so we're going to start with Nate. What would you say your superpower is?
Oh man, superpower. That's let's see. And I know one thing I'm pretty good at, I feel like, is simplifying getting online. I guess, like a lot of people struggle to get their business online. They struggle what steps to take. They don't know how to do it or when to do it. But, I would say that I'm pretty good at simplifying the technology to put your business online. Uh, I guess if I had to say a superpower outside of, you know, I mean, outside of just being excessively good looking with a bad haircut right now. I
You
don't
got
know.
the haircut too? We all got the same
Yeah.
haircut, don't we?
My
Old
buddy,
prison
I
haircut.
was talking to one of my college buddies the other day, and he's like, dude, that's a lot of gray.
Not anymore.
Yeah, of course it's gray. It's because it's growing out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
I
all
mean,
right.
what would
I'll
you
go.
say my superpower is? I mean, you know me pretty well, and I always struggle with that question. It's a challenging question, but I know that I'm really good on the tech side. You know, speaking tech, but also translating for entrepreneurs to use it successfully.
I
You know,
wouldn't. I mean, I've thought of that more as a skill than
Mhm.
a superpower. I would say that from the outside looking in, I think you're just a super connected guy. Like you spent the time, you put in the work, and you're connected at a high level in all sorts of different places. And somehow you manage to stay under the radar, but you still seem to know everybody. And I find that to be powerful.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. I'm I stay under the radar. I do know a lot of people. I never call in the favors though. Maybe I should start calling in the favors during this
Right,
time.
I'm weak on that too. I hate to do that too, and that's a real weakness too. We should probably do a little bit better. We could do a little bit better at that, I'm
Yeah.
sure, because I'm
I
with you.
do enjoy connecting the right people, you know, like one thing I enjoy is when someone, if I meet someone, I'm always thinking like, how can I help them, or how can I put them in touch with someone that can help them, if, you know, or help them grow, not just help them like solve a problem, but sometimes just grow, you know,
But
and
you have
get
helped
better,
me a
get
ton.
knowledge, you know, hey, who do I think this person would, you know, hit it off great. And I like making those connections. So there you go, man. That's my superpower.
Now it is. Put on that cape. All right. So, a couple superpowers there. So, let's talk about positivity, man. You got a smile on your face. You're giggling here, even though you got your gray hairs kicking in. You still manage to stay positive. How are you doing that? How are you staying positive?
You know, I think it's just another day, man. Like you got two ways of doing things. You can either sit there and focus on the negative and get all bent out of shape because of that, or you can just push forward one step at a time. And kind of always been that way, I think. It I look at the scenario, we can't change it, so how are we going to deal with it? How are we going to act? And a lot of people, although this time has been tough, right? I've felt the negativity creep in. I've let it. I've you know it's
How did it
hard. You
get
got to
to you?
constantly.
How did it get to you?
Well, you start paying attention to all the outside noise, right? And then to me, I feel there's two sides of the fence right now, and I'm in the one of like disbelief, like I can't believe this is, some doesn't add up, but yet at the same time, it's like, man, that is serious, and you know, just trying to deal with, you know, with those different, you know, I guess stay a little PC here, but instead
Why?
of going on a rant, but you know, like I feel like some people, you're either extremely overblown on this thing, or you're like, or you're like extremely like, you know, they're taking away my entire life, right? And you got these two extremes, which is America. So
America.
America. And then so I would say like kind of bouncing back, kind of trying to figure out what was going on and making my own decisions. And then you know, it's kind of creeping in, pulling me back, like kind of feeling like just being pissed, you know, like the okay, we were on, I think I in California, we were on stay at home for 2-3 weeks before the rest of the country, right?
Good grief,
Everyone else
man.
like gets on their stay at home and they're like, oh, I can't believe I'm staying home for a week. I was like, man, we're in it. We're settled in. But I said those first couple of weeks, like just trying to like battle that. But anyways, to get off of that, my one thing my buddy would tell me, he was two different buddies of mine. One buddy was like, you're the only dude I know who can jump in a pile of shit and come out smelling like roses. And then he's like, I don't know how you do it. And then he goes, the other buddy was like, I just don't, he goes, I don't understand how you're so resilient in the toughest times. And because I don't dwell on it, you can't. Like, if you can't change it, this, I guess maybe it's just my internal problem solver coming out, right? It's like, all right, here's the problem, identify the problem, make a decision, and go forward. And so many people identify the problem, question whether that's the problem, think it might not be the problem, question whether they're right about the problem, then they make a decision to maybe possibly do something down the road, you know, and it just drags all this stuff out and they don't take decisive action. And I think, and so when you do that, it kind of just slows you down. And for me, that's the problem. I can't change it. So why be angry about it? You can be mad about it for a little bit if you want, but move on and fix it and go forward. This one's out of all of our hands. right?
Agreed. Yeah.
So,
That actually reminds me of something else that I would say that you're pretty good at. Have we? I don't know if we've ever given you a Colby. I feel like we should give you a Colby if we haven't. But you just said your formula was identify, decide, and move, and that is something that I've seen you be very good at. Is like you got a new brand, new website, like you're moving on a dime, and I'm like, damn, how many iterations does this guy go through? But it's like I believe that's what you're doing, saying I don't like the way this is going. I know what the problem is. I'm going to do something about it and move. And so that would be another superpower that because I'm stuck on the same thing. I've been doing the same thing forever. I don't know if that's good or bad or not. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I'm just saying that you're really good at just making the decision and making the move. So respect to you for that, brother. Cool. So you don't dwell on things. That's the formula for boosting resilience. Before all this, how did you build a fortress around yourself to stay positive?
oh, um, man, talking to the right people. I did my my game time yesterday was about like be careful who you hang with. Mom used to always tell me you are who you hang with, right? Mama was right. And so in these times, it's making sure that you're keeping your conversations with the right people and you're surrounding yourself with the right people. And we've been fortunate to be in the DM family together, right? Which provides and knowing each other even before that, but being in a conversation of people going, hey, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sit here and cry about it, or are we going to find solutions and create better opportunity during this time, right? And so for me, the positivity comes from like hearing those success stories and listening to guys that are pushing forward and listening to people that are like, you know what, this isn't an excuse, this is an opportunity. And so I think the fortress is maybe trying to look through that lens, right? Put on the lens of maybe it's not a fortress, but it's glasses, right? It's an opportunity glasses,
Yeah,
because there's opportunity in every situation, right? And it's just figuring out what it is and how are you going to approach it, whether it's the right opportunity for you. So I think that keeps the positivity going for sure.
I have to agree with you because we did that DM call, and the whole world is talking about toilet paper and furloughs and applying for SBA loans. And we're on this call, and people are talking about, oh, that this is just 4 million, and I'm doing this over here. And I was like, good God, where else are you to get this
Yeah.
conversation? It's just like, damn, man, this is the best thing you can do is get in the right room with the right people and hear the right questions and get in that
Yep.
nice mindset of growth because that's what we're in, like you said, an opportunity. So let's switch gears now. Next thing I want to talk about, because I've got a structure now, it's all official, 30 episodes in. Next thing I want to talk about is leadership, and I want to ask you how your leadership has changed at home and your leadership has changed at work with either your team or your clients as things have been going a little haywire.
Yeah, I think so it's all been different, right? So leadership in the at the office with the team, virtual team, so really not at the office, is really helping them because we don't, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we kind of beat to a different drum, right? March to a different beat. I guess that's what I'm saying. But is we fail to realize like sometimes our team doesn't at the same time. So what I was trying to do was stay business as usual at first, then have conversations of from there, all right, business as usual. Now let's have conversations. Yes, let's acknowledge that this is a challenge because and and then listen, right? Be a better listener during this time with my team so they can, because everybody's there's a lot of people that are super fearful, right? And and whatnot. So having those conversations, trying to lead and listen, right? I guess was probably how I looked at the company side. It was like lead by example, but listen and understand that people are stressed out and just talk to them and personally call them. And then I started recognizing people more than I normally do. Like, I've never been a guy who needs a pat on the back.
I
So I've
hate a
never
pat
been
on
the
the
one to
back.
give a pat on the back, right? And so over the last 2 years, I've tried to get better at just acknowledging people when they do something great. So all the little wins, I've just started acknowledging to keep kind of morale up, right? At home, it was a challenge, man. It was tough in the home front. My wife's got her own business she's running that she's been kids were at school, so she would run it while she was at school. Now the kids are at home. Um, all these changes, obviously, in the first couple of weeks, you don't know really what's going to happen. You got to just push forward and figure it out. We happen to be in a very our niches that we're in happen to be okay for this time, right? And so her and I, had to have some conversations on like really what it was going to look like, this kind of new living, and we had those and we worked through them, and it got smoother, and then from there, I've actually kind of liked it, man. I'm out like middle of the day, I'll walk, instead of like going to get lunch, I'll eat lunch downstairs, or I'll go outside and hang out if the sun's out, for a little bit. And kids actually getting up, and I get up in the morning, I do some work, and I work out a little bit later now. But when I work out, sometimes the kids will work out with me. Sometimes they're just riding their bike while I'm working out, but they're seeing me work out, right? So they're leading by example as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of good. Yeah, I would say that, man, just steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie. Yes, sir. I feel
Even
you on that.
keel. And we're trying to plan a move across the country, and that keeps changing. It's like,
Oh man, what do you guys do?
bring the pressure, bro. Bring
Yeah,
the
I don't want to
pressure.
sidebar. We got to put a pin in that for later because I
That's
would love to know how you're putting this whole thing together with the
what's
craziness.
crazy is the more things I have on my plate, and the more pressure and the more uncertainty, it's the calmer I get, and the better my decision making gets. So I don't know. It seems easier. If we had nothing to do, you got to think about it. We get bored as hell, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like,
All right. So now we're going to move on to the section I call love. And what are the opportunities that you're loving right now? What do you see out there that you love?
oh man, I'll break it up, family and finances on that one. So on the finance side, it's there's so much business opportunity right now. Yes, unemployment's high, but it's a couple of big sectors of it, right? A couple core sectors. Those sectors aren't affected by the business I have. So I'm finding loving the opportunity that there's going to be a lot of great people available as we continue. So I think that's going to be good. I like the opportunity of leaning in, and I basically, first thing I did right away, I went to a lot of our clients and said, "Hey, here's the pivot you should make in your business. Let's do it." And they were like, "Oh, thank you." Like, because they were kind of figuring out what to do. So there's massive opportunity, and I'm in the real estate investing space, whether that be education, whether that be motivated seller buyer leads for clients, and agency side. So we've got a handful of things in that space. That's their core niche. What biggest opportunity I was excited about is I invested in a new business right out of the gate. So 2 weeks in, I decided I've been sitting on the fence for like the last year with this business opportunity, and I, you know, got pushed over the edge to do it. And I invested in building out a media company, where we own our brand, own the brands, own the media, and so we're pushing forward on that. And I finally have like, all right, I partnered with Mark on it, and so he pushed me over the edge. He's like, "Dude, you're stupid for not doing this. There's massive opportunity right now." So I did that, and so I'm super excited about it. It falls right into what I'm good at, like that skill I was talking about. It's perfect for that skill.
Yeah.
So so I'm excited about that opportunity. There's just people just got to pick their head up and look. I mean, hell, one guy came out with a mitten. It's called Shittens. You see that? Came out with a mitten called Shittens, and it's a wet wipe in the form of a hand that you put on a glove.
Oh.
Case toilet paper is low, right? Get Shittens. It's crazy.
Oh man.
Talking to a guy who works with me today, and he's like, "Did you see this?" But just think about it. I mean, like, to be that quick, right?
Yeah. I
Just
saw a story with a Boy Scout maybe in Canada that came up with this little piece of plastic to relieve the pressure of the wearing a face mask for the medical workers, and it just had some tabs on it so they could wear it looser or tighter.
nice.
Piece of plastic, right? There's opportunity everywhere, and so what you're saying is
Yep.
you just have to look. You have to
Yeah.
look, get out of the
And
despair zone and move into
yeah,
the
pick your head
opportunity.
up, put it on a swivel, see what's going down, and see where problems are, and try and solve it. And then on the home front, the family front, we go a lot, man. We're busy. My kids, like, if we didn't have this time, my son played. He was in lacrosse, football, and soccer, and so he had, I mean, three sports in a 3 month, like, all at the same time. So we're pretty busy with that. My daughter has gymnastics and horseback riding, so all that crammed in every week. My son was going 6, 7 days a week. My daughter's going quite a bit, and she's involved in all that. So it was like one of those things with it was what I was loving is the opportunity to slow down, right, and realize that and learn what the kids, the kids are out riding bikes, they're playing with their friends, like they're being kids now, as opposed to so much organized activity. So it was good to step back and see that. And especially with my son, when we get back into the normal, it's like, look, man, just pick a sport. What do you want to do this season? You don't need to do them all because you can, you still want to be a kid as
Wow,
opposed to, organized activity. So I think slowing down a little bit, I was loving that. That's been great.
man, I'm digging that. All right, cool. So let's fast forward into the future, 5 years from now. Looking back, how do you want to be remembered during this time?
Oh man. You don't even give me these questions to think about them. These are tough. So I would someone who helped. I'd say I'd like to be remembered as someone who actually stepped up, brought a sense of calmness to people, brought a sense of stability, helped people find a sense of stability during this time, helped people grow business at this time. As someone who led them and said, "Hey, you know what? The world's not ending. Let's push forward." You know, and you're gonna be just okay. Grab on. I got you. Kind of. And let's keep pushing forward. So I think some along those lines. I mean, I don't just someone that people. I would like when someone just go, you know what, 5 years ago, I remember Nate just being like kind of a calming, shining, like helpful person during that time. And that's why on the social side I've started to step up and lean in on the social front. Hell, I don't have my talk from the park. I got my talk from the truck now. You
You
know,
got two of them. I thought you were going to say game time there. I want people to
I
think
got
when the
I got
stuff hit the fan, game time.
game time. Yeah, I mean that's true, right? It's game time. Let's go. But yeah, I mean I got the game time, but it's also kind of it's funny just coming up with those little hooks around creating stuff, and then talk from the truck. And now I'm like, oh, all right, well I'm driving in the truck. People go, well, you're not allowed to drive. I'm like, no, it's that I couldn't drive. I'm just driving around the
In the
block
truck.
so I can do my talk from the truck.
This is all theater, people. All right, so we're wrapping up. We're coming up on the end. Anything else that you would like to share with the Daily Bread listeners?
Oh man, if people are sucking you down with the negativity, push them away. Find others. Tune in here every day. Listen to people that are being positive. Listen to that because, man, I'll tell you what. Being in a negative state of mind, being dragged down by people who just want to go through all the craziness, talk about all the craziness, and talk doom and gloom to you, like they're not helping you. So eliminate them. So I think it's time for people to really assess their relationships right now, right? Really start assessing those relationships and figuring out what ones do you want to lean into? What relationships do you want to expand coming out of this and during this time and out of this time? And what ones use during this time and coming out of this time because, you are who you hang with.
Yeah,
So
I love it. And when Nate is talking about relationships, I'm pretty sure he doesn't just mean your neighbors or your family or that brother-in-law you can't stand. It's even your relationship with the TV, your relationship with the media, the relationship you have with what's going into your brain. Build that mental fortress. Get around the right people. I love it, Nate. I love it, man. Thank you so much for being here. And since you're always pivoting and changing, I have no clue where to tell people to go. So where can people find you?
you can always get me at NateKennedy.com.
Aha, that's the one constant.
That's the one
NateKennedy.com.
constant.
Got it. Got
And
it.
all my social handles are Nate Kennedy MD, as in marketing doctor.
Marketing doctor. This guy's slick. Thank you, Nate. This has been the dailybreadproject.com, where we have brought you power, positivity, leadership, love, and all the other good stuff that you're not getting anywhere else. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Nate. And that, my friends, is a wrap.